It was the hug heard round the world. Well, maybe not the world, but definitely Black social media. So let's talk about it. So many of you are familiar with this story. Amber Guyger, a police officer, well now former police officer, was coming home and went into an apartment that she mistook as her own, ran across Botham Jean. It was actually his apartment. She saw him, mistook him as an intruder, and shot and killed him. Now when this story first came out, I thought it was just, I didn't believe it from the beginning because it sounded so incredibly ridiculous. How do you not know your own apartment? How does that even happen? And how do your key open an apartment that's not yours? And then for you to not even take a second to see who it is before you shoot and kill a man, it all seemed absolutely ridiculous. And so of course I was waiting for the trial. The trial happened. And yesterday, before I saw the video, I saw headlines. And the headlines were talking about Botham Jean's brother forgiving her and asking her for a hug. And I'm gonna be honest, my initial reaction was, are you kidding me? That was my initial reaction. And actually, I'm sorry, my initial reaction was outrage. I was so angry. I was so angry that I wasn't even sure that I was gonna watch the video because I thought it would make me incensed. But then I did watch it. And I saw the two of them run into this hug, this deep embrace, that it was clear to me as I was watching it that they looked like they both needed it. The brother and Amber Guyger. And as angry as I was before I watched that video, as a Christian, and this is gonna make some of you mad and we're gonna talk about it, I knew that that was Holy Spirit led. I knew that I was witnessing the Spirit of Christ. I knew that it was deeper than those two people. And I knew that because of our history as African Americans in this country, that case could never be about two human beings, because everything that we've experienced and everything that's happened to us, it would always be about the history preceding that moment. What I've seen on social media following that moment is the pain and outrage of my community, and we have every reason to be angry. Emmett Till, the 4 little girls who were murdered at the 16th Street Baptist Church, what happened at Mother Emanuel a few years ago, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, now Jean Botham, the Central Park 5, and the list goes on and on of Black lives not mattering. Case after case, life after life, undervalued, disregarded, and we are fed up. She was found guilty, which she should have been, sentenced to time, which she absolutely should serve. But it was the hug. It was the hug that unleashed the fury and the pain of being undervalued in this country for so long, of seeing Black life after Black life persecuted, sacrificed at the altar of white privilege and white supremacy. And the fury comes from a place of history that's never truly been dealt with in this country. We've never dealt with the racist history, the slavery, the segregation, the Jim Crow, the criminal justice imbalance. We've never really dealt with those things in this country. We've talked about them, but we've never dealt with them and made it right. The work that my ancestors did to build this country and never being able to own or purchase land, so always starting millions miles back from our white counterparts. So Black people, we walk around literally as the walking wounded, constantly dealing and living in two worlds, knowing that in this country our life has less value than our white, Latino, Asian counterpart. So when Brant Jean hugged Amber Guyger, while as a Christian, I understand it, and I am going to get to that, I also understand the fury, the hurt, Though, hey, wait a minute. They keep killing us. I'm not ready to forgive. I'm not ready for this to be over or okay yet. They haven't even apologized or said enough. There was all of that. But the truth is, it was Brant who lost his brother. That was his sibling. The one that I'm sure he praised and worshiped with, woke up to, called, laughed, joked, cried with. And who are we to decide how that young man handles his grief and what he needs to do to reconcile what happened with the brother he lost? That's his and his alone to determine. What I want to say as a Christian is this. Like I said, before I saw the video of the hug, I was outraged. I was angry. I was ready to rip stuff up, cut somebody out. But I understand truly what forgiveness is. And forgiveness is rarely about the person you're forgiving. It's really about you. It's about not walking around angry and bitter and mad and letting that eat at you. It's about releasing that and being able to go on and live your life. Now, could I have done what he did as soon as he did it? Probably not, and I hope I never have to find out. But I have dealt with issues of forgiveness before, and having to forgive people for things that at the time seemed heinous. And I knew that if I carried it, that in the end they would have won, because it would have started to facilitate dis-ease in my body. It would have started to affect my life and my relationships if I would have walked around with a certain hate and anger and kept rehearsing what wasn't fair and what happened. Now, I do believe also, in terms of social justice, that there needs to be a place where we say this type of behavior is not okay. We're not going to absolve you from it. You will be held accountable. And I believe that she was. What I do see as a positive is that that jury was diverse. And I believe because it was diverse, it came to a guilty verdict. It was able to see things clearly that perhaps in a different situation where you don't have people from diverse backgrounds and perspectives to really lend their voice to decision making, that people can get behind a curtain and decide anything. So I was very happy that the jury was diverse and that they came forward with what I believe was the right verdict. She was guilty and she should do time. Now I want to address some of the things I've seen on social media after the verdict and after the hug. First, I want to talk to the self-righteous Christians who were mad at people for being mad that he forgave. Do you not understand our history? Do you not understand the wounds and the weight that we've carried as African Americans in this country? People have every right to be outraged. They have every right to feel slighted. They have every right to feel wounded because, as I said, we have never truly dealt with the racist history of this country. Now, should they stay there? No. But that was an immediate gut reaction from African Americans who have seen time after time our lives being undervalued in this country. If we say we're Christians, we can't get mad at the outrage and then go off and run into our little corner and judge people who don't understand how we believe or our faith. This is the time where discussions need to be had, where we talk to each other, where we share our faith and our pain and love each other through it. Secondly, I want to deal with the people who have judged that young man, Brant Jean, for determining to forgive Amber Guyger. Who the hell are you to decide how that man deals with his grief? Really? Why do you get to decide how he acts out his faith? Did you lose your brother, or was that his brother that was shot? Right, it was his brother and his family. A family of faith who have chosen to forgive. They're the ones who are going to spend Thanksgiving without him, Christmas without him, walk into 2020 without him. They're the ones who have the memories. They're the ones who loved and supported and were there for him. Do you think you could possibly be hurting any more than they have? What is it easier to do? Be angry or to forgive? It's easier to be angry. It's much harder to forgive or decide to have love and not let the hurt and pain of a situation rip you apart. Now me, like I said, I may do something different. I don't know. I pray I never find out. But I know I have no judgment for that family. They get to deal with that and work out their faith in the way they need to work out their faith. That's their family. That's their loved one. You don't get to decide or determine how they grieve. And thirdly, and this is just a personal pet peeve of mine, I want to address the ridiculous, asinine, ignorant remarks about Black Christians. Here's the thing, you would think that you would do research before you talk mess, I'll just say mess, about somebody else's faith. First of all, God, I'm sorry, it's hard because it was that stupid. The post I saw about Black people worshiping a white Jesus and the slave owner's religion. Do you not read, or do you just not know history at all? Let me help you. First of all, Jesus was not white when he walked the earth. Jesus was not blonde, not blue-eyed. He was brown. Brown skin, brown eyes, hair like lamb's wool. He would probably more or less look like this. So if you believe that Black people are worshiping a blonde, blue-eyed Jesus, it's you who's fallen victim to the white supremacist lie, not us. We know the truth. Ethiopia was one of the first, if not the first, Christian nations, dating back to the time of the apostles. So Christianity has been with Black people since its inception. It was the hallmark and the foundation of the civil rights movement. It has been the bedrock and a refuge for many of our entertainers, leaders, and politicians. It has been a place where many went when they had no place else to go. It's been a place of healing, of growth. This is the Christian faith, the Black church. It's been a blessing to our community. So while I understand the need for accountability, justice, and the inherent value of Black lives, you don't get to trash the church. You don't get to trash people's faith because you don't agree. Let's work together to go forward. Let's not tear each other down.